not, you're happy to take the fight against someone at stack. So we'll see what Falcons do from that. I'm very excited to see where Falcons go from Dome.
I also want to say that SSG getting Sky East at pick 23, pretty good from them. I think they would have been very happy to see that still available. So SSG with an opportunity to do something here on World's Edge. And I think you're right. Obviously, all eyes are going to be on Falcons and how they play from the Dome as well. And they do have a couple of teams around them. Maybe they feel confident in taking those fights. But one of them might not be complexity with the way that Lou has been firing his guns recently. But enough of the POI draft. We've seen the teams. We've seen who's in this lobby. It's time to get underway, everybody. Match day is nearly ready to go. And I tell you what, Dan, World's Edge, it always looks as beautiful as the last time I saw it.
It just hits different, doesn't it, World's Edge? I always like it when it's in the rotation in ranked as well. It seems to be home for not just me, but many players in Apex Legends. Now, I am curious as to where Falcons go with their rotation, but at the moment we're going to focus on Not Moist, because the inclusion of Timmy, this is a big change, right? Not Moist were a roster who dominated in the region for quite some time during Split 1, but perhaps didn't have the result they would have wanted or expected when it came to the playoffs. But now with Timmy on the bang, I'm excited to see what they can do.
Yeah, also interesting to point out as well, you've got Guild and Timmy, both North Americans. Is this now a North American team? Genome. Waltz is going to be the lone survivor from ANZ. I'm sure that he'll still be supporting his boy, of course, understandably so. But Waltz is going to be taking up the IGLing on this team as well. MT historically, of course, was the IGL for Not Moist, and it's a big change for him. He put a tweet out saying, you know, he's going to put the hard work in and everything that he has to do, and he believes in himself to do so. Well, he's going to have to navigate the traffic on World's Edge here to head a little bit towards Fragment.
Yeah, Fragment is where we're going to be going. There's a little bit that's within Geyser, so that makes me think that we might head over towards No Name as the end circle here. So the likes of Yup and Weave and NGNL actually are all going to have priority to move there. And you can see Weave dropping at Overlook have already made their way down to No Name, and they should have got that ring console up at Overlook, so they'll be the first ones to take one of the buildings, and they should be able to sit there for quite some time. But of course, with a No Name finish, not too many buildings to work with, so a lot of the surrounding areas in Fragment and in Geyser are going to be desirable for those who rotate late, but then they're going to have to force their way in when the zone eventually shifts.
Yeah, good news on the pathing as well from Overlook. Not only did they have the ring console, they also had Survey Beacon, and as you can see, as they path their way towards where they want to play, they had a Evo Harvester as well. So they'll have at least blues, pretty close to purples, you would imagine, as they're already set up inside of this building. So a really good opportunity for early points on the board for them. Elsewhere, you've just seen a little bit of a slow rotate from some teams who recognize that maybe there's not a huge amount of zone to play where they believe it's going to finish, and maybe Fragment is going to become a little bit more packed as we get through the game. A couple of teams hitting the evacs in, but for now, a little bit of a slow burner at the start, as we would expect. Not too many fights been taken. You can see already less than 1,000 Evo damage needs to be done here by Weave for them to get up to purples.
Well, good news for Weave is they have the Watson, so they can really set up in this building, and they can ruin everything for anyone who wants to arrive late and try and take the position away from them as the early movers. The story's more going to be focused on those who are going to be moving a little bit later and potentially fighting in chokes and surrounding areas. The Harvester area at the moment is where a fight is currently going down. LG against Board, and LG have that high ground.
Oh, we also see a strong push, shall we say, at the least, coming in as we put some more damage from distance. Unfortunately, only the one times on the scout is going to make it a little bit more difficult, but it's E8 who are being so aggressive to try and take this truck position away.
Yeah, E8 maybe seeing an opportunity here, and the knockdown shields are almost doing something similar to what we saw last week, but it's Eternal who go down. Elevate only lose one, and they'll be able to get back up to a full 3 here, and if they want to, they can hold this truck for the rest of the game. But with the aggression we just saw, will they consider carrying on with this wave, right? Do they push even further into No Name and potentially take the fight against Weave?
One thing they're going to have to do is play a little bit of space around that truck, because they don't have the catalyst to reinforce the doors, so it's very, very nadeable for inside of that truck. They do have the fuse, who can, of course, was very useful in that initial push, of course, just to fire those knuckle clusters in to get that damage to really discombobulate the team that was inside. But you've got to use now the fuse and the knuckle cluster to kind of command space in and around that truck, because just setting up inside it with those doors already gone, it's a risky spot to play.
How about the Pioneers being reintroduced to Apex Legends as well? Welcome back. 255 days away from Apex, and what a team to pick up. Tripods who get in through Challenger Circuit in the final game and now find themselves competing in the biggest and the best lobby, and they do not look shy in this lobby as well. Happy to take fights, really rolling with the big boys, and I'm excited to see what they can do for the rest of the season. And in this game at the moment, moving from the northern side, they might just be able to pick off a few teams that are going to be below them here.
Well, yeah, you have to be careful because Deeds has got himself a long boy. And he's going to be able to do some good damage if he does see those doors gone and the windows available for him to poke a few shots through as well. But it looks like maybe another evac for them to try and play with. I'm not sure where they want to try and play from here, if they're going to try and go into Overlook or maybe the truck, but
doesn't matter.
They're going to go nowhere. They landed on the snow. It was a soft landing. They wanted to stay here, regardless of what they tell you.
I mean, I think if they had arrived in No Name and then they could run it back, they probably would rather stay on the height, judging by how congested it is at the moment, right? So it's probably a blessing in disguise for them. But it was Not Moist and other teams who all banded together to shoot down that evac tower, not allowing Pioneers to make a aerial rotation. And you spoke about the long boy. How about the Sentinel?
Yeah, that's not bad either, to be honest with you. I mean, the size of the projectiles that come out when you charge this thing up, it makes it pretty difficult to miss at times. But even from that distance, Timmy makes it look easier. Nice little 88 to really make sure that he's pushing that team away through the tunnel. And it looks like Pioneers are going to head towards Overlook. Maybe they're looking to hit the ring console and the survey beacon as well that is available before they pop back into a position in zone. OXG, Oxygen Esports, haven't talked about them much so far. Frex, of course, being a addition to this lineup for this split, and had some pretty solid performances so far.
Yeah, 15th in the POI draft, choosing Lava Fissure, which, you know, a not bad POI to go with in general. I think that they'll be fairly happy with it. They're going to be in the kind of mid-ground for both POIs on both maps. So I'm expecting Oxygen to find an average performance, but it's whether they can find something that's just a little bit further to push them into the chances of winning today's efforts. Now, this is the big shift that we're waiting for. I think it is going to be No Name. There is always a potential chance it can shift back north, but it is going to keep going further towards No Name. It could continue to pull towards the eastern side as well. We have seen it finish over towards the eastern side, more towards the Vault, but certainly where Complexity, Empire, Weave, they're all holding at the moment, they're in great positions.
We can see as well that Falcons are pushing their way from Geyser through the tunnel. If they can hold that for quite some time, then they'll be in a really good spot. Fluffy Aimers might think about rotating behind them a little bit later, but it looks like they're going to take a slightly different approach. So Yup, who are already in the kind of tunnels complex, I'll call it, now that it's a little bit more difficult to navigate, they're going to maybe have to deal with Falcons at some point, but they're playing outside of it to the north side. So Falcons should have control of this Vault tunnel for quite some time, and they're going to be in a really good spot for this endgame with everybody kind of, by the looks of things, approaching from the north side here of World's Edge.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think anyone's going to come from the south, so that would be good and bad news for Falcons. Good news because they're not going to be contested down in the Vault, but also maybe bad news because then you don't pick up any kills. But it looks like Falcons on their rotation at the moment are trying to find a better place to play on the edge of that Vault tunnel. As for Not Moist, this is the northern side that you were speaking of. SSG aren't so far away from them, and I think that's why Not Moist are hesitant to move right now, because they know there's someone nearby. They've just seen SSG again, but now seeing them retreating means that Not Moist should know they're the only team on the north.
Oh my goodness. Well, ACP do hit another evac and manage to get into this building, but by the skin of their teeth, that could not be closer. Deeds was down to 5 or 6 HP. Everyone else has to pop some batteries and some cells to get healthy again, but they do have the caustic this time. Deeds running the caustic to lock down this building. So a very successful
also a green one and a yellow one.
Oh, there. Red Bull. Behind you. Drink it now.
Of course. Too late.
No Red Bull, no wings.
redeploy from the skies for them to find a spot to play.
Yeah, the teams who have the Controller Legends are going to be pretty happy with this circle if they have been able to get into one of these buildings in No Name, or even in Fragment, to be fair, on the edges of Fragment. You can hold it for quite some time. I think CCE also playing a caustic and holding the edges of the train track. As SSG, they've had to move all the way down this western side, and it's NRG that are now in front of them, and they might have to take this fight.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough rotate here for SSG. Interested to see what the play call is going to be from Phony. But one thing I want to actually say about SSG as they prepare to take this evac is I just love the natural chemistry in play styles that you have with all these three players, right? Phony loves to be aggressive as an IGL, probably about as aggressive a player as you would wish for. Zainu, we know what pedigree he has. He's a LAN champion and also loves to be aggressive. And I think Koifel just gives him that little bit of stability, that clutch factor that's sometimes missing in those 3v3s. You get that final kill, you're in a 1v1, you want Koifel to be that player alive, but for now, they're going to have to get him back on his feet.
They should be able to get up to a full 3 here. They're probably happy to see that these buildings are free, but they already know they're going to have to continue moving because they were able to get the ring console information thanks to Zainu choosing that option on the fuse, and they will continue to move east shortly. But it's a nice temporary pit stop for them to reset and potentially hold out teams that they could have fought on the outskirts of this circle. NRG and both SKD are going to now be arriving after them here.
Going to be an end zone where I think a lot of teams who are coming in from the north and maybe even the west side of World's Edge here are going to be thinking KP is the name of the game for us. Also LG, they're making a very interesting rotate to follow here as it looks like they're going to play for maybe this Evo Harvester that is in front of them. Maybe a little bit of extra ring console information, but the situation they find themselves in now, always craft a bat on your way past.
Medkit probably.
Medkit indeed, smarter than me. Is an interesting decision to go back into the zone and wrap from this way.
Now that's the difference between you and I. You already have plenty of medkits. I'm scrambling when we get into the circle. I'm desperate. I need something. I've not
made the
looted
call that
enough.
we're going through zone knowing I have 3 medkits.
But it is going to be a long old journey for them. We'll have to see if it pays off for LG. And as they do arrive late, it will be Not Moist that is the closest team to them. Biggest question for me, do Not Moist know that they're there? Because remember, when Not Moist saw SSG a little bit earlier, they probably presumed they're the only team on the north. But we can have a little dive in to see what they are thinking about this game. Let's jump into a listen in.
Yep, can you before we do this, can you scan down below and see if there's a team underneath us?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yeah, they're playing out front of tunnel right now. 3 seconds, I'm gonna scan below, okay?
Yep.
Scanning.
Taking things to see what's in.
There is a team under right now.
You need to queue this. You need to queue that. Make sure that they can't come up.
We're in at the rock there, Timmy. We don't have to int right now. We can wait until we wait until this zip is out of zone, and then we look to take the fight, okay?
Yep. Well,
Do as much poke to them as you can.
They do have blue. They do have blue. I have
Yeah. Perfect. It's a fucking Watson team.
This guy also has blue purple down there.
Yeah, I hear you.
Just letting you know.
We hold this zip, and we look to fight this team later. We win this fight, and then we fucking have a very good game here.
Yep, they're just holding their inside, I'm pretty sure. So they have to worry about that. It's also the team that mirrored us.
That's fine. That's fine.
Mirrors. Yep.
Shoot them off as well. We walk in front of us. We're not pressured for space right now.
They have purple. I'm just letting you know.
That's fusing.
They're probably gonna go low ground towards. They're probably gonna go low ground towards the tunnel. We can walk in here if we have to.
We should try to shoot this. No, we should try to kill them off. Shoot the second. Shoot second.
Hit him 30.
Alright, let's look to walk. Let's look to walk forward.
Right there, my dude.
Let's walk up. Good shots.
Nice. Walking up.
We went inside. I'm gonna smoke it.
Yeah, I hear you. Can we look? Can we look to the right, maybe?
Yeah, we are. I think we played this spot.
Kevin, can we shoot this hit? 3, 2, 1.
Button, yep.
Dust.
Thirsting. I hit him at 180. I'm about it.
Beautiful shot coming in from Timmy from distance. Alongside his 2 teammates, they get the knock onto the team that was in that truck. That was E8 quite some time ago, but I'm pretty sure that's a combination of TSM. And no, it's actually, excuse me, it is still E8 who are in and around that truck. Elsewhere, SSG have been eliminated. So one of my teams to keep an eye on today, well, you don't have to keep an eye on them any longer in this game. Board also eliminated as we lose our first 3 teams.
It was great to get a listen in and just to hear Waltzy on the IGL as well. Of course, it used to be empty, but now Waltzy picking up those reins, and it sounds very comfortable to me. Now, elsewhere, SKD, they're on this far western side, and they have 2 teams around them. But are they going to be able to pick up any kills? They've already lost 2, and it's now Noct as the last remaining.
1v1. Not trying to clutch up for SKD here, but don't think he knows where the other player is. And now he's kind of a little bit split decision. Does he play behind the knockdowns to hit the battery? That is the answer in front of your face right now. It's Presley versus Noct in this 1v1. Is he going to play for the res here and exchange them elsewhere. OXG taking a fight here. It's a 2v2 by the looks of things for them.
Yeah, most hated are on the other side. Now it's just going to be Aiden on his own. And he is in the Bloodhound ult, but I'm not sure it's going to work out for him. Done a lot of damage, but it's not going to be a successful mission for him. He falls to most hated. We go back to this 1v1 that you were speaking of earlier. That's no longer a 1v1. Fluffy Aim is back up to a full 3.
It's a 3v2 now because they managed to get both reses. So SKD may have just made the wrong decision in this situation. And yes, indeed, that was the wrong choice. Take the 1v1 next time. You want that one back. But Fluffy Amiels will knock SKD out of this game number 1.
All the meanwhile, the circle is continuing to shift further east, which we did say could happen here. So just outside of this vault tunnel that both Falcons and YUP are holding at the moment is going to be one of the more desirable positions. So this could be a huge fight to win here for Team Falcons.
And they do have an armor advantage. You can already see as a blue armor. Also, Zero is going to jump over those with a little bit of gymnastics himself to make sure the Watson fences will not be a problem for the rest of Falcons. They will be safe where they are right now, but you can see the play. They want to take this spot away. They want to fight for it.
I think they're just hesitant at the moment, just in case there's any other teams in the area, waiting for those scans to get full information before they do anything. The zone is going to force them to make a decision soon, though. If they don't go fast, they might have to back off. All the meanwhile, most hated have just dived on in onto YUP, and suddenly there's going to be several teams in this area, and Falcons, if they bide their time, might be able to just sneak around.
NGNL gone, E8 gone as well. Another team just disappeared. Fluffy Aimers fell out of the lobby as well. This is a really tough rotate to have to make now. The team that's stuck inside of this building, very, very difficult to move through those traps if they want to get some clean shots without taking damage. Empire have gone down as well. Pioneers, they are cleaning up this side of zone for now, and there's a Kraber in the hands of Ommu as well. NRG will go down, and now you're finding Cape as the last player alive. He's got no shields and he's got no life left as well. CCE will be eliminated, and Pioneers putting some good kills on the board. Look at the amount they've got already.
No one is in this next circle, by the way. The only team that's close to it is Not Moist, who have one of the more commanding positions from the north side. You could hear Waltzy knew where this circle was going. He was confident they were going to have a good game if they won that initial fight when we were in the listening. Now, the fight we were talking about earlier, Most Hated versus YUP, they're going to be fighting, and Falcons have to push it. Falcons need to come into this one.
Yeah, they're going, they're sending it. They see the knocks come in, and now Falcons, they have to send it themselves, but the fences are a problem, and Team Falcons will fall. So YUP, somehow or other, from being in a horrible, horrible position sandwiched between two teams, survive long enough to not only send Falcons out the lobby, but maybe fight their way through this last player alive to stay alive in this zone.
Only one player remaining for Most Hated as well, but has the zone on his side. Knockdown shields as well to play with, and you can see that they are scrambling inside there, and they may just fall victim to the red. They do, so now Most Hated will hold the southern side. Not Moist still on this northern side, holding out LG and Complexity. It's going to be 3 teams here. Not Moist, Pioneers, and Most Hated as our final 3.
LG gone, Complexity gone, and now you're seeing Not Moist, a new lineup, starting to take command of the northern side of this zone. They have the most space in this zone, but Pioneers and Ommu do have that Kraber, so keep your eyes on them. They have the opportunity here to play however they want if they can hit the shots, but the Caval's going to go down. It looks like Not Moist are forcing them away down the hill.
I love this push from Not Moist. It's an aggressive one that says we're prepared to take this fight, and they almost scare the opposition away, and they hope to scare them into another fight. It's the Pioneers who have lost the first player, though. Most Hated, Not Moist, and Pioneers all scrapping.
These last player alive. Jet is going to go down as well, so Deej is trying to scrap for second place at the moment. Guild trying to clean him up, but the gold knockdown, we've seen it be a problem. Well, it's a problem once again. Timmy's taking his time and will be able to get back to full health, so Not Moist will have to play this one out as a 2, and Most Hated almost as a 2, but they've stuck the res by the looks of things. Not Moist, they might be able to get them back up, but no! It's going to be a straight 2v2 as one gets finished off.
Yeah, Most Hated still down to a 2, but the fact that Not Moist gave themselves the time, they don't know yet, but they might have gained that information that it is a straight 2v2 if they saw it on the death cam whilst he was knocked. And now suddenly the Kraber in the hands of Most Hated. Oh, and the Sentinel for Timmy.
Yeah, I see your Kraber. I got to...
Hurry up, Agent. Only 20 seconds left.
But which wire should I cut? The red or the blue or the...
Well, it's usually always the blue one.
But there is also a green one and a yellow one.
Oh, there. Red Bull. Behind you. Drink it now.
Of course.
No Red Bull, no wings.
Hold on. An Oreo snack cake? Yes, sir. Yummy, fluffy, soft baked? Yes, sir. I can have my cake and Oreo cookie too? Yes, sir. Oreo cakesters.
Sentinel and is charged up, and I am feeling charged up alongside it. Timmy, the new boy, to this lineup for Not Moist, is taking the game in his hands, and Not Moist will win as Timmy hits a celebratory shot to a teammate as well.
On his debut, what a way to kick off.
On his debut.
Joining Not Moist, the calls from Waltzy perfect. A great time to go into a listen-in to see just how they wanted to play that game. And it was almost played exactly down to a T how he wanted to, and it all played out in his head how he foresaw it. Great first game from Not Moist.
I mean, when you're poking with a Kraber, you don't expect that kind of response a lot of the time. You feel like you have the power of the lobby in your hands.
This chair isn't comfy and I'm warm. I almost kissed your nose. I'm leaving my chair here for